Tim Cook has just confirmed the worst. Price hikes are coming. He didn't specify on which products and when necessarily, but I can speculate on what is probably going to hit the most and what you should prepare for / maybe buy earlier if you want to get ready. Let's begin. So as happy and excited as Apple is for artificial intelligence, we kind of have AI to blame for these price hikes because it's basically artificially shooting up the price of SSDs and RAM, and Apple, in their defense, has done a really great job of trying to not push that on to the end customer as much as possible because, frankly, their prices relative to storage and memory options have never really been better or more competitive. I remember growing up when it used to be like, oh, that MacBook is so expensive, you could get a Windows laptop with more memory and more storage for way cheaper. And now it's almost flipped around, gone the opposite direction where, especially if you look at the latest like Microsoft Surface hardware, way more expensive than MacBooks and yet not as great memory and storage options to choose from. But a lot of that stems down to now the MacBook Neo existing, Apple just never really having a Mac in this price category before. But as we talked about with the Neo previously, a lot of the time things are just too good to be true. So how I read Tim Cook's comments yesterday was that the MacBook Neo pricing was probably just too competitive. I still think it's probably going to sell fairly well, even if it's $100 more. And frankly, Apple might be using some of the rising costs of memory and storage options as a justification to say, you know what, we kind of underpriced the MacBook Neo. We probably should have been collecting a thicker profit margin on that. But let's just say the outward statement is, well, it's because of the global prices of everything going up. We have to go up. We don't have a choice. So at least my personal guess is that's where we're going to be seeing some of the more short-term price jumps. It could be tomorrow, it could be next week, but at some point I would not be shocked at all if they just straight up discontinue the base model MacBook Neo or raise the price on all the configurations by likely around $100. But that's just on the Mac side of things. I'd be pretty surprised if they started upping the prices on the Mac Studio or the Mac Mini right now, unless they can justify it with some kind of refresh. You know, we throw the M5 chip in there, or we introduce the M5 Ultra chip, and that just comes in at a higher price than the outgoing model was. But I do think this is actually going to finally apply to iPhones as well. You know, considering how much bigger the screens have gotten and we've gotten better cameras and vapor chambers now, iPhone prices honestly haven't gone up that much, but considering how memory and storage prices keep going up, and another reason Apple might be able to get away with upping iPhone prices this year is the introduction of the folding iPhone. That's probably going to be the talk of the town, even though it's probably not going to sell all that great. It will frankly be the worst selling iPhone in the lineup in my opinion, but also keep in mind this is the year where Apple starts moving the cheaper iPhones to next year. In case you missed it, the rumors for the iPhone lineup this year is we're just going to get 18 Pro, Pro Max, and the folding iPhone, and that's it. The base regular iPhone 18 and the iPhone Air 2 are now not rumored to come out in September. They're supposed to be held off until, you know, March or April of 2027, which means that once we have the September iPhone keynote anyway, all the iPhones are expensive, right? It's not like they're going to be doubling down on here's some more affordable iPhone options to choose from. Like, I guess just buy an iPhone 17 from last year for $100 cheaper maybe, but it doesn't even come with the best on-device model. But I'm sure the more expensive iPhones will. Hopefully they give it some more storage and RAM options, but the folding iPhone in particular, I think will help justify some price hikes on the Pros because the Pros are actually going to look somewhat cheap. Folding phones in general tend to be a lot more expensive, and knowing this is Apple's first one means that it's likely not going to be an exception. I would honestly be surprised if the iPhone Ultra or iFold, whatever they call it, ends up being a flat $2,000. I'm frankly expecting it to be more like $2,300 to $2,400 starting. Now, Apple can make that a lot easier to stomach just by including a really high base storage option, like maybe it's 512 gig or even 1 terabyte default, and you can't get any lower than that. So it's just looked at as, you know, an ultra iPhone. It's very premium, it's kind of pricey, but you're getting state-of-the-art, you know, iPadOS and iOS baked into one product. Still super thin and lightweight, but has decent cameras and a fancy display that is creaseless, I guess. So if we're looking at an iPhone Ultra coming in at $2,400, that sounds obviously outrageous, and a lot of people are going to complain about the price point, as they do with most new Apple products. But then the 18 Pro and Pro Max will actually look far more reasonable. Even if they up the prices on it to the point that the 18 Pro now starts at $1,200 or $1,300, that's still like a grand cheaper than the folding iPhone. And yeah, that might mean that the 18 Pro Max jumps up to $1,400 or $1,500, which by no means is a great value anymore. But keep in mind, a lot of people buying these Pros every year are on iPhone upgrade programs or on carrier trade-in deals. They're probably not paying that out of pocket, even if maybe they should be. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again anytime we talk about price hikes. The iPhone is the center of a lot of people's ecosystem, right? Like, they do more on their phone than they do any other Apple product. It's always with them. They're using it for navigation. They're using it for media consumption. They're using it for work, whether it's for the cameras or responding to emails. And that's why in the last couple of years, the Pro Max usually ends up being the best seller. So if we're voting with our wallets and telling Apple what we truly care about, most of what we're voting for is more expensive iPhones. You know, the data is not suggesting that the iPhone would sell much better if it was much cheaper. No, what we've actually indicated to Apple is that we want even better cameras. We want even longer battery life than you can currently offer. And that's why I think even with a $200 price increase on the 18 Pro and Pro Max, they're still probably going to be the best sellers. They're still going to be some of the best selling phones in the world because people live on these things. And relative to other increasing expenses in people's lives, whether it be housing, whether it be transportation with their vehicle purchases, the iPhone is just such a pivotal central point of all of our lives. And yet relative to what everything else costs, it's still really not that much at the end of the day. I even recall saying this back when I was in the attic, that, you know, with how people use their phones and how central it is to our ecosystem, you could probably easily justify $2,000 for good iPhones that, you know, had a lot of storage, good battery life, good cameras. And a lot of people thought I was crazy back when I was throwing around those numbers, but in today's world, that's starting to sound more and more feasible. That like, oh yeah, $2,000 for a new phone. Yeah, I use my phone for everything. I guess that sounds reasonable. You know you're there. There's some of you guys watching this that are like, you know, if I get a couple terabytes in there and I get better battery life than on my 17 Pro Max, yeah, I suppose 2,000 could work. And I bet some of you are still interested in buying the foldable iPhone even after I quoted $2,400 for that model. You're like, yeah, but I've never had a folding iPhone before. That's kind of cool. So you're already justifying it, and I'm sure the general public will as well, because they're going to look at the monthly payment, not the upfront payment, and they're going to sell it next year for half of what they paid for it. So out their pocket, it's more like $1,000 instead of $2,000. But I just thought it'd be fun to speculate because Tim Cook has confirmed the price hikes are coming. Personally, I don't think they're going to do much with the iPads though. I don't think they're selling all that great anyway. So that's probably one category where the prices will stay the same. Maybe similar with the Apple Watch as well. It doesn't need a lot of memory or storage, so that might be okay. But I do expect moving forward for future Mac releases, and potentially in the short term, the MacBook Neo price might just go up in the next few weeks. And of course, in September when the new iPhones come out, that's where I think you'll find the most noticeable price increases. But hopefully they can make up for it in the spring with the iPhone Air 2 and the iPhone 18. I don't think the price is going down, but hopefully for those two, they can at least keep them the same. But feel free to speculate along with me down in the comments below. And thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. Seriously, helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos. So thanks again. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you all in the next one.